Hello YouTube, this is Headshake and welcome to another very exciting video. This video is specially made for new flight simmers and people who suck at landings and want to practice better their landings. I'm gonna tell you about two rules of thumb that I find really useful on landing part, and yeah, I'm gonna give you some quick tips. Okay, so first things first, you need to find an airport or airfield or whatever. I recommend you having one that has a DME. If you don't know what a DME is, DME, aviation. There we go. A DME is a distance measuring equipment. So it basically tells your aircraft how far away you are from that station. It's basically this little antenna right here. You will find some airports or airfields or stuff like that that have VORs. Some VORs have DMEs, some don't. Sometimes you find DMEs all by themselves. So yeah, basically the important thing is to find a DME. That it's not required that you have a VOR. Although you have a VOR, then you can also practice a little bit of instrumental approaches, which is also really fun. But today let's just practice landings, right? So let's find an airport or airfield that has a DME antenna right beside the runway. So something really interesting, I like going to Mexico for that, because in Mexico almost all airports or airfields have a VOR, and that VOR most of the time has a DME. So I made a custom scenery that over here in Monterrey, Mexico, in this airport. It's Mike Alpha November, Monterrey del Norte Airport. So its VOR, it's called ADN, and it has a DME. Oh, it doesn't show here, but it has a DME. I'm positive. And this is where I'm gonna teach you. If you want to do the same, if you want to fly in the same airfield that I'm gonna be doing, please look in the video description for the link so you can download the airport scenery. This is the link that is there. You basically just go here and click on download this file, and also these are the requirements. You need these sceneries. All of this is free. You need these ones to make it work. So you download it, and once you download that and the requirements, you just drop them, all of that stuff, you drop those in custom scenery in your X-Plane 11 folder. And yeah, that's it. As easy as that. Now you're ready to go. So now you can spawn here. Just if you want to make things easier for you, just make sure you start with the engines running. In the location, make sure you appear on runway, and on the weather, make sure match real world weather conditions is not ticked, and then choose Kabak, and make sure it's daylight. Okay, after that, here you are. Now the DME you got here, the frequency is over here. It's Alpha Delta November. Its frequency is 115.4. So let's put that on our nav. So let's switch to edit our nav, 115.4, and we switch it to active. And there we go. VOR Alpha Delta November. Distance 0.6. As you can see, the VOR is right there, and I think this is the DME antenna. So we are 0.6 miles away from it, but that's good enough for us. Now we can see the distance that we are from the runway. We can always subtract 0.6 just to know where the threshold is, because right now we are sitting at the runway threshold. So one thing that you want to do is your heading selector, establish it with the runway heading. So right there is my if you want the VOR, you can also put it on the runway heading, which is 30. We're not gonna use it, but it's a good practice, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, that's that. Now we have everything that we need. So that's excellent. Okay, so before we take off, I want to explain these the rules of thumb that I was telling you guys about. So basically, the glide slopes, that is like the imaginary line that is descending into the threshold of the runway, that tends to be a 3-degree angle line. So that's basically your descent. It's you have 3 degrees of descent. So to be able to fly this 3-degree glide slope, first of all, you need to know where to start your descent, and what I mean by that is at what altitude you must be at how many nautical miles away from it. Well, away from the threshold of the runway. So let's say that we want to start our descent to the threshold 5 nautical miles away. So that is gonna be on our DME. When it shows 5 nautical miles, we're gonna start our descent in the glide slope, right? So what we need is the nautical miles. We know we're gonna do 5. You can do also 10 if you wanna practice something longer. You can go shorter or longer, but I don't know, 5 or 10. Those are good distances. We'll do 5 for now because we're on a slow aircraft, and you may want to be doing this over and over and over again. So 5 nautical miles is good. Okay, so 5 nautical miles to the threshold, then multiply the 5 with 300, and that will give you the altitude at which you should grab the glide slope. So 5 nautical miles times 300, that is 1,500. So we need to be 1,500 feet above the runway, 5 miles away from it, and at that point start our descent in the glide slope, in the 3-degree glide slope, right? So we are at the moment at 1,500. So obviously you must add 1,500 above the terrain. So we're gonna need to be 3,000 feet, 5 nautical miles away, okay? The second rule of thumb is to know what vertical speed to maintain is your ground speed, which is not to be mistaken with your air speed, which I am not sure if the... Oh, wait, what happened with my... What? Okay, so yeah, we need to know exactly what vertical speed we need to maintain our glide slope, our 3-degree glide slope. That we're gonna get it by our ground speed. As I was saying, the ground speed is not to be mistaken with our indicated airspeed, but your ground speed depends basically on the wind. If you have a headwind, your ground speed is probably gonna be slower than your indicated airspeed. It also depends your altitude. If you have tailwind, you're gonna have a faster ground speed. But yeah, there are a lot of variables there, and I don't know if I think maybe this GPS gives you. Oh yeah, it gives you the ground speed. So we can use the ground speed. I think, as we're gonna be going so slow, that the ground speed is gonna be pretty close to the indicated airspeed. But anyway, so what you do is you grab your ground speed. Let's say we're gonna be at 60 knots. That is gonna be our landing speed. That we need to start. I mean, you don't have to, but it is a good practice for the first times that you get the hang of it. We don't have fuel now? Oh my god. So you don't need to grab the glide slope at certain speed and maintain it. It is easier. It makes things much easier because it's constant. If you switch your speed, then you have to change your vertical speed and stuff like that, so it gets a little bit trickier. So I will recommend, while you practice this, is reach your glide slope at the speed that you want to do the landing. So you go with the same speed throughout all the glide slope. So let's say it's going to be 60. So the rule of thumb is you grab your ground speed, which is 60, you divide by 2, so 60 divided by 2 is 30, and then you add a 0, so that ends up being 300. So the summary is we must grab the glide slope at 3,000 feet, 5 nautical miles away, with a 300 feet per minute vertical speed. And with that, we should be able to reach the runway threshold with no problem. We will be, these are rules of thumb, so they are not exact, but they will most definitely help a lot. I mean, the ballpark is going to be really close to the threshold. So okay, without further ado, let's go. Full flaps, no problemo. No flaps. Okay, so I had a little problem, but yeah, I'm ready now. Let's go. Full power. So no flaps. Maintain. We'll keep a little rudder, bright rudder, because the aircraft will want to go left while full throttle. 60 knots. That's good. Okay, so let's set the autopilot with heading and the vertical speed. I think we can do 600 feet per minute. So now we are maintaining. So now we're maintaining runway heading, which is very good. We're climbing, and let's do a 180 degree turn to the right. If we are flying 30 degrees, then 180, it's gonna be the opposite. That's gonna be 210. So heading up 210 now. You can turn to the left if you want. I wanted to turn to the right. So we're gonna be flying parallel to the runway in a little bit. So remember, we need to maintain 3,000 feet. Once we reach 3,000 feet, we maintain those. And then we grab the glide slope. 600 feet to go. Okay, and there's the runway. As you can see, we are flying now parallel to the runway. 500 feet to go. Oh yeah, this is something really cool about this scenery. Well, this city. It has some beautiful mountains. Just breathtaking. I really like Monterey. It is a very nice place to fly. Do some pretty cool VOR DME approaches. Real fun. Okay, yeah, 150 feet to go, 100 feet to go. And 3,000 feet. Let's press the Alt to maintain. So as you can see, we're gonna be using a lot of autopilot. It is good to do this at first because the aircraft trims itself, and you know how the aircraft should behave in this kind of approach. Once you get the hang of it, you stop using the autopilot, you start using the aircraft manually, you fly the approach manually, and you need to trim the aircraft by yourself. But now you know kind of how to expect. Kind of also keep an eye on the trim, see what the aircraft is doing, how he tries to maintain the altitude, because that's the way the aircraft maintains its altitude, only by the trim. So we are 2.5 miles away. I am going to do my U-turn at 1 nautical mile after where I should reach my glide slope. So I need to reach my glide slope at 5 nautical miles. So we add 1 nautical mile more, so that's going to be 6. So at 6 miles, I'm going to do a U-turn. So I should reach the end of my U-turn coming back 6 nautical miles, and in 1 more nautical mile, that is 5 nautical miles from the runway, that is where I can start my descent with a 3-degree glide slope. 4.1. Okay, 2 miles for my U-turn. It's gonna be the same, 180 degrees, so we're gonna have to fly a heading of 30. And that mountain is gonna be really close to us, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna manage, no problem. 5 nautical miles now. Pretty, real pretty. .5 and 6 nautical miles. Let's turn right, making a U-turn. So let's fly heading 030. There we go. Now we need to reach our glide slope at the speed that we want to do our glide slope, and that is, we made the calculation for 60. So let's slow down. Okay, look at the trim. Look how crazy he's gonna go, because he's gonna try and maintain the altitude, which is 3,000 feet, but with every time losing power. Well, speed, power, it already lost it all. Okay, so we are a little bit to the left, so let's fly 10 degrees to the right. Okay, flaps 1, flaps 2, let's give it a little bit of power, we don't want to stall. Okay, look, the aircraft is fighting it with itself. Look at the trim. Okay, let's try and maintain 60 knots. You can see the ground speed here. Let's try and maintain 60 on the ground speed. Remember, this is a rule of thumb. It's not going to be exact, it's not going to be precise, but it's going to be really helpful. So ground speed 60 nautical miles away from the airport is 5.4. So now we are 5 nautical miles of vertical speed, and what was it, 300 feet per minute. Okay, ground speed is coming up. Let's slow down a little bit. As you can see, the pappies are 2 red to yellow. Exactly how we want them to be. Okay, let's try and maintain those 60. And it seems we're doing okay with the 300 feet per minute. Okay, I think I got. Yep, still 2 red, 2 yellow. So far, rule of thumb is doing an excellent job. I'm gonna have to do a little turn here. Not just yet. Yep, still good. Maintaining the ground speed, maintaining the vertical speed. Now we are kind of aligned with the runway, aren't we? And still 2 red, 2 yellow. A little bit to the left, maybe. Now we're going a little bit high. We got 2 yellow, so let's do minus 400 feet per minute. So that's what I was talking about earlier. It's not gonna be precise, but it's pretty darn close. Okay, we got 2 red and 2 yellow once again. Oh, it's a little bumpy here. As you can see, the vertical speed is getting a little crazy. I don't know why it's not. Come on, what are you doing? Okay, let's try and fly it manually now. Let's try and maintain those. Oh, going too. My vertical speed is too much, but we're a little bit high, so it's okay. Let's do 500 feet per minute. Try and stay in that range. Don't go all the way like 1,000 feet per minute, 0, and then positive feet per minute. Just try and maintain those vertical speeds. Okay, so now let's try and reach 400 feet per minute. There we are, 400 is good. Try and maintain those. Right, 500, but yeah, we're missing it like with like 100 feet, so that's good. Don't get too crazy on that. Okay, so we're coming in a little bit high. Let's go for 500 feet per minute again. Okay, let's maintain those 500. There we go. And as we approach, gently start lifting the nose, throttle all the way down. There we go. Nice and easy. And before you can even stop, just synchronize your heading once again. Full throttle. Flaps up. Just shake your trim. Make sure it's in the takeoff position. Oops. And here we go again. Autopilot on. Vertical speed positive 600, and yeah, you just keep doing that. use the autopilot until you feel more comfortable with it, and then start doing it manually, and I think you're gonna have a blast, and you're gonna improve very, very much on your landings. Just, I don't know, I think with those two rules of thumb, and knowing how to work the trim and maintaining the vertical speed, don't go too crazy with the vertical speed. Don't go 1,500, positive 500, 0. Just jiggle with it a couple of hundreds. Obviously, the faster that you're going, the changes are gonna have to be a little bit more dramatic. But going at 60 knots, and the distances that we're doing it, you don't need to go all crazy. Just add or subtract a couple of hundred of couple hundreds on your vertical speed. But yeah, that's basically it. I hope you guys find this really helpful. I hope it helps improving your landings. And if you have any comments about the video, please let me know in the comments below. Or if you're also interested in learning something else, I don't know, how to do a DME arc, how to do an ILS approach, how to do VOR navigation, how to operate. Well, these GPSs I don't like, but I could do something about them. FMCs, I don't know, you name it. Just let me know. But anyway, that's it for the video. Thank you very much for staying around, and happy flying. Cross check out.